In the shadowed lands of ancient Asia, 44,000 years ago, a small band of Homo sapiens eked out their existence beneath the looming presence of a fiery mountain. The mountain, with its molten heart, was both a protector and a destroyer to the clan. They called it Krag-Thar, meaning the breath of Sky Father, for its fiery eruptions were seen as the god's voice, a force that could grant life through fertile ash or take it through rivers of molten stone. The clan, numbering no more than 30 souls, built their shelters from mammoth hides and pine branches at the mountain's base, their lives tethered to its rhythms. The air was thick with the scent of sulfur on the day the whispers began. The clan had gathered at the edge of a clearing, where a small stream bubbled with water warmed by the mountain's heat. Children played with stones, tossing them into the stream, while the adults prepared for a hunt. The lead hunter, a wiry man with a scar across his cheek, was named Torik. His eyes, sharp as flint, scanned the horizon for signs of deer or boar. Beside him stood Lyra, the clan's seer, her hair streaked with gray, her hands clutching a staff adorned with raven feathers. She was the one who spoke to Sky Father, interpreting the mountain's rumbles as messages from the divine. As the sun dipped toward the horizon, casting a golden glow over the pine-dotted slopes, a strange stillness settled over the land. The birds ceased their calls, and the wind died to a whisper. Lyra froze, her staff trembling in her hands. "Sky Father speaks," she murmured, her voice barely audible. The clan turned to her, their faces a mix of awe and fear. But this was no ordinary rumble from Krag-Thar. A low hum, like the drone of 1,000 bees, filled the air, growing louder until the ground itself seemed to vibrate. Above the mountain's peak, a darkness bloomed, a circle of absolute black, ringed by a halo of twisting white light. The clan gasped, their eyes wide with terror. The black void grew, its edges shimmering as if the sky itself were being torn apart. The white light spiraled inward, like water circling a drain, and a deep, resonant growl echoed across the valley. To the clan, this was no natural phenomenon. It was Sky Father's wrath, his mouth opening to devour the unworthy. Torik gripped his flint spear, his knuckles white. "We must offer a gift," he said, his voice steady despite the fear in his eyes. The clan nodded, their traditions dictating that Sky Father's anger could be appeased with sacrifice. They gathered what they could, bones from a recent hunt, feathers from a fallen hawk, and a small bundle of dried herbs. Lyra led them up the slope, her staff tapping the ground with each step, her chants rising into the air like smoke. As they approached the mountain's summit, the heat from Krag-Thar's molten core scorched their skin, and the smell of sulfur grew unbearable. Lava bubbled in a glowing pool at the peak, its surface rippling with fiery light. Above it, the black void hovered, its growl now a deafening roar. Lyra placed the offerings on a flat stone near the lava pool, her chants growing louder. "Sky Father, accept our gifts," she cried. "Spare your children." But the void did not retreat. Instead, it pulsed, and the lava pool began to rise, not flowing outward as it should, but spiraling upward in a fiery vortex toward the black circle. The clan stumbled back, their screams drowned by the roar of the void. The lava twisted into a glowing column, its molten light swallowed by the darkness. The ground trembled, and rocks began to lift from the earth, pulled upward into the void's maw. Panic seized the clan. Some ran down the slope, their feet slipping on loose stones, while others fell to their knees, begging Sky Father for mercy. Lyra stood firm, her staff raised, her voice unwavering. But even she could not stop the void's hunger. A young hunter, barely past his first hunt, stood too close to the edge. His body lifted from the ground, his screams echoing as he was pulled into the darkness, vanishing without a trace. The void pulsed once more, then began to shrink, its edges collapsing inward until it vanished with a final, thunderous crack. The lava pool fell still, its fiery glow dimming to a dull red. The clan, scattered and trembling, gathered at the base of the mountain, their eyes fixed on the sky where the void had been. The air was cold now, unnaturally so, and the mountain's heat seemed to have faded. They did not yet understand the true cost of what had happened, but their fear of Sky Father had grown tenfold. The days following the appearance of the black void were marked by an eerie stillness. Krag-Thar, once a living force of fire and fury, had gone silent. The lava pool at its summit had cooled to a dull gray, its heat no longer warming the stream that the clan relied on for drinking and bathing. The air grew colder with each passing day, and frost began to form on the pine branches, an unusual occurrence for this time of year. The clan huddled in their shelters, their breath visible in the frigid air, their fear of Sky Father's wrath growing with each silent moment. The clan's hunters ventured out in search of food, but the animals they once hunted, deer, boar, and rabbits, had fled the area, driven away by the unnatural cold. The children grew weak, their small bodies shivering beneath layers of mammoth hide. The adults whispered among themselves, their voices tinged with dread. They believed that Sky Father had taken Krag-Thar's fire as punishment, leaving them to face the cold without his protection. Lyra, the seer, spent her days at the mountain's summit, her staff planted in the ground, her chants echoing across the barren slopes. She sought answers, begging Sky Father to speak once more. On the third day, as the sun rose in a pale, gray sky, she noticed something strange. The flat stone where they had placed their offerings bore a new mark, a circle with swirling lines, etched into the rock as if burned by an unseen force. To the clan, this was a sign, a message from Sky Father, but its meaning was unclear. Some believed it demanded another sacrifice. Others thought it was a warning to leave the mountain forever. Torik, the lead hunter, gathered the clan around the central fire, its flames weak and sputtering. Sky Father has abandoned us, he said, his voice heavy. We must find a new home, or we will perish. But not all agreed. A young woman named Kiva, known for her skill in crafting flint tools, stepped forward. We cannot leave Krag-Thar, she argued. This is our home. Sky Father tests us, but we must prove our worth. The clan was divided, their voices rising in a cacophony of fear and defiance. Lyra raised her staff, silencing them. We will seek Sky Father's guidance, she declared. Tonight, we perform the ritual of the flame. The ritual of the flame was a sacred ceremony, one performed only in times of great need. The clan would build a massive fire at the mountain's summit, offering their most precious possessions, and Lyra would speak to Sky Father through the flames. As night fell, the clan ascended the mountain once more, their arms laden with offerings, flint knives, bone necklaces, and the last of their dried meat. They built a pyre of pine branches at the summit, its flames roaring to life, casting a golden glow on the cooled lava pool. Lyra stood before the fire, her chants rising into the night sky, her staff raised toward the stars. The clan watched, their faces illuminated by the flickering light, their hearts pounding with hope and fear. But the ritual did not go as planned. As Lyra's chants reached their peak, the sky darkened once more, and the black void reappeared, smaller than before, but no less terrifying. Its growl filled the air, and the fire began to twist, its flames spiraling upward into the void's maw. The offerings on the pyre lifted into the air, vanishing into the darkness, and the ground trembled beneath the clan's feet. Kiva, standing at the edge of the group, felt the pull of the void, her body lifting from the ground. She screamed, clutching at a nearby rock, but the force was too strong. Her body disappeared into the void, her cries echoing long after she was gone. The clan scattered, some running down the slope, others falling to their knees, their prayers drowned by the void's roar. Lyra remained, her staff planted in the ground, her voice unwavering. But even she could not stop the void's hunger. The void pulsed, then vanished with a crack, leaving the pyre extinguished and the summit colder than ever. The clan gathered at the base of the mountain, their numbers diminished, their hope fading. Krag-Thar, once their protector, was now a tomb of ice and stone, its fire stolen by the black void. The clan faced a bleak future in the shadow of Krag-Thar. The mountain silence had brought a winter unlike any they had known, with frost creeping into their shelters and hunger gnawing at their bellies. The Black Void's second appearance had shattered their hope, and the loss of Kiva weighed heavily on their hearts. The clan's numbers had dwindled to 20, their spirits broken by the cold and the fear of Sky Father's unending wrath. Torek, the lead hunter, led a small group in search of a new home, venturing into the frozen forests beyond the mountain. They found little, no animals to hunt, no streams free of ice. The land itself seemed cursed, its life drained by the void's touch. Meanwhile, Lyra remained at the mountain's base, her chants a constant prayer for Sky Father's mercy. She carved the swirling circle symbol into the ground, hoping to understand its meaning, but no answers came. On the seventh day, a faint tremor shook the earth, and the clan gathered in fear, their eyes fixed on the mountain summit. The Black Void did not return, but something else emerged, a strange, shimmering light, like a star fallen to earth, glowing at the edge of the cooled lava pool. The light pulsed, emitting a low hum, and the clan approached cautiously, their breath visible in the frigid air. The light was unlike anything they had seen, its glow shifting from white to blue, then red. Lyra, her staff trembling in her hands, stepped closer, her chants faltering. The light seemed to speak, its hum forming patterns that felt like words, though the clan could not understand them. Torek, returning from his hunt, saw the light and ordered the clan to stay back. "It is a trick of Sky Father," he warned. "It will take more of us." But a child, a girl no older than 5 winters, slipped past the adults, her small hand reaching for the light. As her fingers touched it, the light flared, enveloping her in a glow that illuminated the summit. The clan gasped, shielding their eyes, but the girl did not scream. When the light faded, she stood unharmed, her eyes wide with wonder. In her hand, she held a small, glowing stone, its surface etched with the same swirling circle symbol. The girl spoke, her voice clear and calm. "Sky Father says the fire is gone," she said. "We must go." The clan stared, their fear mingling with awe. They believed the girl had been touched by Sky Father, chosen to deliver his message. Lyra knelt before her, her hands trembling. "Where must we go?" she asked. The girl pointed to the east, where the sun rose each morning, and the clan knew they had no choice but to follow. They gathered what little they had, flint tools, mammoth hides, and the glowing stone, and began their journey eastward. The cold followed them, but the stone in the girl's hand glowed brighter with each step, its warmth keeping the frost at bay. They traveled for days, their feet crunching on frozen ground, their eyes fixed on the horizon. Krag-Thar faded into the distance, its once fiery heart now a tomb of ice and stone. At last, they reached a new valley, where a small stream flowed, unfrozen despite the cold. The animals had returned. Deer grazed in the distance, and rabbits darted through the grass. The clan built new shelters, their spirits lifting for the first time since the Void's arrival. They placed the glowing stone in the center of their camp, its light a beacon of hope. They carved its symbol into the ground, a reminder of Sky Father's message, and vowed never to return to Krag-Thar. The mountain remained silent, its fire stolen by the Black Void, its legacy one of cold and loss. But the clan had survived, their journey eastward a testament to their resilience, their faith in Sky Father guiding them to a new beginning.